Hello, friends. I'm proud to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Canadian Legacy Project. Veterans Affairs Canada is very limited in its service offering to veterans, so the Canadian Legacy Project has stepped up to fill the gap. CLP develops and delivers a full suite of free programs for Canadian veterans. CLP celebrates our veterans by offering meaningful support for healing and the transition to civilian life. Homes for Heroes, Business Boot Camp, service dogs, educational bursaries, equine therapy, and more are available through the Canadian Legacy Project. Find out more at canadianlegacy.org. Hello, all you beautiful souls. I am so happy today to have my friend Christine Gauthier join me again. Christine joined me a few years ago when the brouhaha broke loose about veterans being offered medical assistance in dying instead of help. So instead of medical assistance in living, offered medical assistance in dying. She's one of several that have come to the show. 3 have come to the show and actually used their names. 2 used their full names. 1 used a pseudonym, a nom de guerre, an alias. Because most people do not have the courage to come forward. They're worried that they might lose their benefits, because we've all heard stories within our little veteran community of punitive measures happening where the Veterans Affairs, if you get on their wrong side, they let you know it. So that's why I've been concerned, because I do rely on my veteran benefits. Without them, I'd be hooped. And I don't know how I'd survive, but I came forward anyway. So, but I was aware that there was some risk to me in doing that, and I think that's the consensus. What about you, Christine? Like, are you concerned that that it's going to go from bad to worse, or can it even get much worse than how you've
Oh,
been treated?
I think with them it can always go worse, but I think I can pretty much by the everyday battles that I have to go through with them prove that it is the case. I do understand people being scared and doubting, but we'll never be able to get things back to respectable services if we do not come together and speak thoroughly. But just to give you an example, and I've mentioned this when I was at the committee again last week, to prove, just for proof, the proof of it in fact is I am a wheelchair user by back since 1998. And in the last 10 years, well, actually, since they've transferred all the services with Blue Cross and LifeMark and whoever else is all implicated in this, taking their chunk of our services and money now, it had gone from good to horrible. My spouse, as you know, is also a veteran, 25 years, with his situation in case as well. He's part-time wheelchair right now, so long distance and off days. I had asked for a wheelchair for 5 years, but was rejected. He got that exact same model in 3 months. So because I have been speaking up since many years, they can't come and say, I mean, just that, can they answer how there is not double standards or not just one program if in one same household the disparity of services is so remarkable. And saying this, I surely do not want him to start suffering as I am. But, also, he had never asked for his services for 16 years. He didn't get pension thing because of the troubles and all the implication and the work it requires for us to have to maintain this file and these services. The first 16 years, he just said, I can't go through with this and I'm not going to do that. And eventually, as life catches up with us, he's 71 years old now. Like for me, do you think I'd rather not do something else? I just didn't have a choice. I had nothing else to rely on. When you're permanent, full disability, I had no option, so I had no choice, and it caught up with him. So just right there, in two people in the same house, the services are so
No
different.
consistency, no
No, at
continuity.
all.
So I just want to remind for those that don't know who you are or they don't know the story, I'll just do a little recap, and if I miss anything, please let me know. So Christine and I first met a few years ago, partially because of being offered maid, but the rest was also because she's been wheelchair bound for some time because of service related injuries. She was doing a obstacle course in training. Um, there was an accident, and uh, she's been suffering ever since. Now, one of the gross parts of the story is that um, she didn't go straight to a wheelchair. It
Yeah.
started with some injuries that she asked for help with that she didn't get help with. So those injuries got worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually she was wheelchair bound. And so it was, to some degree at least, preventative. But so here she is in a chair as a result of lack of care. That's why she's in the chair, because of lack of care. So basically, an argument could be made that Veterans Affairs is responsible for her being wheelchair bound. She's responsible for all the subsequent injuries from there. And then to make it worse, once she was chair bound, the house that she lives in Quebec required a wheelchair elevator. It was the only way to really make things work. A ramp wasn't going to do it. And 5 years, 6 years, right? 6 years
Yes.
fighting to get a wheelchair elevator.
Actually, just to correct you, right there, before
Sure.
we get too much into it. Since the beginning, the one thing that never was disputed by VAC was the reliability of my injuries. That's the one thing I never had to fight off, was to have it recognized that it was service related, and on the that was never a battle. It's all the services that is. So, which makes it even more ironic. Like, I know of a lot of people that had to prove and worked on this, proving the link of it, but that
Mm-hmm.
never was a question. It's never been disputed. So,
Silver
how does
lining, I
it make
guess.
it so hard, much harder? It's crazy. And also for the elevator, remind also that it was a renewal of equipment, which makes it even worse. So it didn't take 6 years to be granted or to be accepted. It was accepted since 2018, and as a renewal. And it nevertheless took 6 years for it
Because you
to.
moved, right? So you needed one at the new house.
Exactly. But like I
Yeah.
said, I had brought the one from the previous house because I was going to just have it transferred and installed here. But as VAC being VAC, they want to be putting their nose into everything and anything that doesn't make sense.
And a couple of times they said, okay, uh, we'll put it in for you. Then they change their mind, and then you fight. And then they say again, oh, no, okay, yeah, we'll put it in for you. And then they change their mind. That happened, right?
It was not. They always, like from 2018. I have the acceptance letter that okay, we're going to be put this in, but because of rules of regulation and then everybody gets their jumps into it. It has to be either because of the city, the province, and back. New regulations between all of them has to put their little 2 cents in, and then it turns out into a mega project that's never what I asked for. And the one time they came, they sent all these architects and everything else to come and decide where they're going to be putting the elevator, but it just didn't make sense. I mean, the
And
access
in the
to my
meantime,
house.
while all the silliness was going on to them trying to figure out which end was up, in the while all this was happening over the course of years, for you to get up and down the stairs, you had to crawl. And I'll never ever forget the words that you used. I had to crawl like a worm
Yes.
up and down the stairs. And when I would crawl up the stairs and then use a rope to get the chair and drag the chair up the stairs. And this was years. And because of crawling up and down the stairs. Your shoulders got further damaged and other injuries. Now, and this went on for years.
Yes.
I can't think of any.
Which I have to go for 6 surgeries in the
God.
present time for both
And
my
and
hands.
this despite the fact that you got more media coverage than anybody could ever hope for, right? Like you were in national news, National Post, top level, like Jordan Peterson's wife Tammy had you on her show. Well, she came to your house.
Yes,
Rebel News did a special thing directly on you, and they came to your house, right?
absolutely,
And plus, I made sure that you were in a few different documentaries. So,
absolutely,
I mean, you had more media coverage than, and plus my show,
absolutely.
the Kelsey Sharon show, and despite the ridiculous amount of coverage, in some cases international coverage, even you, somebody that they use as the literal poster girl because you're a Paralympian, even you couldn't get the help.
Absolutely.
Even they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't just figure it out and make it happen.
No. Even I even had I had contacted at some point the suicide helpline in at VAC. Things were so bad.
Yeah.
And there was a person there I was talking to, and at some point she got forbidden to take my calls afterwards because she was trying to find a way to help. So there is no doubt issues when you do speak up. Just this week again, when I was there, the new Liberal deputy, which was a total not an insult. I don't care personally, but just an insult to the system and I think what is going on and the problems. Again, just came back on the fact that Macaulay had stated how nothing of this was happening and anything like this. And remember when Macaulay was, he also just acknowledged that I never even existed. Where he had the letters.
I'll explain this to the audience, Christine. So originally, when you and I connected on this, Minister Macaulay was the Minister of Veterans Affairs, and he basically called you a liar.
Absolutely.
Because he said, "Hey, come forward. If people have been offering you MAID, oh, we want to know about that. Just come forward. And there you are, sitting right in front of them, like, well, it happened to me. Wow, we have no evidence of that.
Right.
And then the same thing happened again. Sean Casey? So when you testified just a few days ago, Sean Casey on October 28th. Sean Casey basically called you a liar as well, just like the minister.
Absolutely.
Basically called you a lawyer. As he says, hey, if there's a problem, come forward. Well, you're sitting right there.
Yes.
Right there. And he's pretending that you don't exist. I was furious.
Yes.
And I've proven on the show, because I've had David Baltzer, and I had the guy who just used the alias Bruce, all come to the show, all say the same thing. You're all in different provinces, which means you all had different case managers, which means at bare minimum, little old me with my little old show has proven 3 case managers were involved, not just one. And if there was 3, then it was system wide. It was policy. There's no way around it. It's just, it's just so simple. And yet they still say it was one rogue person.
Yeah.
Oh, infuriating. They called my friend Christine a liar on record, on video.
Yes.
Twice.
But what was funny about it to me is that they were stating in the same breath of insults that I've never even reached out to them. But yet I have the letters right in their face. They're right there that I had written to Justin Trudeau at the time and to Macaulay, and he's saying we have no acknowledgement of this person, as if I don't even exist. And I'm right there with all the proof and the letters that, I mean, they're right there. You can't deny the letters that were written.
One of the things I wish would have came out at committee, but you didn't want to dwell on it, is about your wheelchair elevator getting just getting one for the house. So nothing was happening from back. They would give and then they would take away. They say, okay, we're going to do it in writing. Like you have the letter. You
Yes.
sent it to me. I read the damn thing.
Yep.
Okay, here you are. We're going to do it now. We're just kidding. We're not going to do it.
Yeah,
We
because
changed our mind.
they would ask, okay, well, the quotes have been 6 months past, so they're not valid anymore. You have to get more. You have to restart the process each time. That was delaying the delay because every 6 months they required that we restart the process.
The part that I was hoping would come out at committee is that the help that you have gotten wasn't from back.
No.
It was because a friend of mine told me about Renos for Heroes. So I reached out to, his name is Scott Casey, no relation to Sean Casey that I know of. But Scott Casey is a veteran and he's the founder of the Rolling Barrage. And he told me about Renos for Heroes. So I reached out to Renos for Heroes and they said, well, here's the nomination form or whatever. So I filled all that out on your behalf. And what do you know?
And I'm so thankful to you for doing that.
All I did was fill it out, but you're very welcome.
No,
and
no,
I told you I would.
You are my little angel. You seriously, Mark, you had the whole things. The little hope started up with you. The hope, but unfortunately things are not better because of VAC still, but you had made it hope for me to hang on to something and try to advance into this. So no, you do not diminish the impact you have. For me, it was tremendous. As I'm sure it is for a lot other people listening.
The system doesn't look after us, so we have to look after each other.
Yes.
And that's what we do, right? And thank God for Renos for Heroes. I still haven't had them on the show to talk about all this. I've invited them. We just haven't got it over the finish line. But I'm glad that I'm having the conversation with you first.
Yeah.
Because talk about angels. That's the Renos for Heroes people. So to get this progress, because it's not solved yet, but we have progress. It wasn't the system. It wasn't Veterans Affairs. It was the veteran community that rallied together to help you.
Yes.
And so where's it at now? You have you have an elevator, but you still need more. Is that where it's at?
No, it works most of the time.
Okay.
I guess it's going to be a eternal outgoing things, but it takes on water. It takes air is coming through, like if a window is open. So, and yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like whoever the contractor can get to fix that problem. So it's just adding on, and it's things that I have to find another party again to try to get to fix this problem. I can't have this leaking in water and air.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, most of the time it goes up and down. Most of the time.
Okay. So progress, but
progress,
of course,
but this is what is like funny on things. The VAC wants to get implicated and makes all the decision about how it's going to be built, but it doesn't take what it causes as well. So since the elevator has been built, because they built this box outside, well, there's accumulation of water at the bottom of the door, of the elevator door. So I have to get my driveway digged in to put sewage in there so the water can drain. I have to put gutters. It's crazy how when they put one thing in, they don't think of the rest of the issues. Like there was a shortage of electricity. I was stuck in the elevator for 35 minutes.
Jesus.
It's like,
well, I'm on the board of directors now for the Veterans Association, which is my favorite between them and the Canadian Legacy Project, Canadian Legacy Project sponsors this show. They're just phenomenal. They provide me with a producer, and they're just wonderful. And the Veterans Association, they have some funds, so I'm going to call the heads of both of those. Now that I understand that, okay, well, there's an elevator in, but it needs some needs a little grease and
Yeah.
a little bit of help. And I'll see what I can do about getting it the rest of the way done.
But you know, the reality, Mark, also thinks it's not always about money. I just can't
Bureaucracy.
deal with all of this all the time. I'm
Yeah.
I'm alone, you know, and this is what I want as well. I want to be able to take care of myself by myself. You know, my spouse, veteran, also has dementia. So it is another reality that, you know, has maybe nothing to do with the elevator, but is the fact of life. That I'm by myself, having to resolve all the time all of these causes of extra loading that doesn't have to be. And if we can come back to the commission, I was, like I said, as I was telling you, leading to that this week before we started, I drove in. First of all, you know, my typical day, I sleep 3-4 hours a night because of the pain. It takes me 4 hours to get out of bed in the morning because of all the cramp and the all the cramp in the way I can't move. When I get up, then I have to just man at anything of the day that happens. All of this, you know, finding a competent person to just block air and water, you know, it's not rocket science to me, but
no.
I've gone through, you know, it took 1 year to get this finished. It's not even finished technically, but it goes up and down, serves a purpose, helps a lot. It doesn't.
You had Tammy Peterson at the house. Are you familiar with her daughter, Michaela?
No.
So there's a reason that I'm bringing up Michaela. So Tammy's daughter, Michaela, was having hip replacements and knee replacements when she's like 15, something like that. Like, so juvenile arthritis, and it was severe. And she's turned her life around and has gone from, like, she was well on her way to wheelchair bound to she's a strong, healthy young woman. And with the Lion diet, so basically carnivore. Getting rid of everything that's inflammatory. So definitely all sugar, and but beyond the sugar, the things that turn into sugar simply, like the carbs. And Jordan, her dad, is on the same diet. It's also great for mental health. But if it helps your shoulders and other joints, have a look at the Lion diet. You know, and anything you want to know, like, are you still in touch with Tammy?
No, not really.
Okay.
I haven't been like that.
Well, her daughter, Michaela, she's almost as famous as her dad, and that'd be a way to something to try for 30 days anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually less expensive because my wife and I have been doing this for months. We find that it's less expensive than eating regularly. We thought it would be more expensive when we were concerned about that, but because you're not buying all the ancillary ingredients, it's just meat and eggs and cheese, and that's it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but we quite enjoy it. It took a while because there's, believe it or not, recipes so that you don't get bored of the food, but really helps with joints. So I would ask you to maybe try that for a while.
Sure.
And also,
it's not really an issue for me. I eat once a day, and I eat like big, like my aunt, and I must have. I found it before as well that if I don't have my protein, you feel like you're just running on empty sugar, because this is all, you know, regardless if it's a fruit or anything, you're running on the sugar. So I must have my protein, meat protein and egg protein from the start. But
it's what the sugar does to your joints too. It's because you're already suffering with the inflammation, so it may help. And of course, glucosamine and creatine,
Yeah.
and omega-3s, like
But
I'm sure you're already
to
taking those.
make things as a fact, like last week, I was in a meeting with 7 professionals, doctors, nurses, and everybody from St. Anne to oversee this problem. Because honestly, I was seriously hoping that having the elevator now, all my upper limbs would just fix themselves up. I would hope they would just regenerate.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case because I've torn up everything in my upper body from warming up those 5 years.
Yeah.
And the only way to fix it is by surgery. There is no other option. As it stands from last week, they want me to transfer into an electric wheelchair, which I don't want to do. Going into an electric wheelchair is starting the end. My heart won't be pumping anymore when I just take these strokes. It's it's not the solution, So I
Yeah.
am gonna try it anyway
If you don't
because I
use it,
love my
you lose it.
hip.
You have to keep moving. You're right.
Yes, yes,
You got to
and
keep moving.
and also, unfortunately, like as crazy as it sounds, the elevator was not built for an electric wheelchair. It was
Oh
built
God.
for a manual wheelchair. And like I say, I don't want to be. I mean, this is what started up from my lower limbs when they told me you need to go in a chair instead of giving me the proper care at that time. That may have changed all of this. They're making me go through the entire same thing again, a second time with the upper body now. And, I wish they'd be another way. Just if they'd say just time would regenerate, but it won't. And I just want to be able to take care of myself by myself. I know I won't be able to for everything, like I keep saying to people sometimes, do you know how stupid I feel? Trying to change just the right. I can't change a battery in the clock. I can't change a light bulb. Okay, people that don't know, don't see, won't understand because I'm in a wheelchair. I'm not incompetent or stupid or useless. But
Yeah.
there are all the little basic life things that people don't realize and take for granted. It just adds up,
It sure
everything just
does.
adds up.
And losing your independence is not easy. My
No,
mom lives in my mom's 88 now, and for a few years she's been in assisted living. And I mean, she got used to it, and it's pretty good. but but it's not what you want.
no,
You want to be literally standing on your own 2 feet
yeah.
and be independent. It's a natural thing to want to be independent, of
Yeah.
course.
And I'm being told that my resilience is working against me. I'm too resilient. I should just accept these. I'm making it too hard on myself. What are they talking about? Now resilience has started to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Only when you want to be, not saying useless, but when you just, I don't want to have everybody doing everything. I want to be able to feel that I'm accomplishing still things. I still have dreams of wanting to go and give back to the system and be part of it again.
Do you feel that there would be any help with physiotherapy or acupuncture, anything like that?
I've already done all of that. I have bought machines on my own that works, that helps. But I can't be in those machines 24 hours either.
Yeah.
I mean, it defies the purpose of wanting to do and accomplish other things. And, even if it's just like, for sure, there are things I can't do, but you have a house, the work it asks to maintain. And I try, and this is why I had to pay and wanted the elevator to the last level that I have always paid and said I was going to pay on my own, which was a big issue as well with that. This is why they use that excuse as a problem at some point. But even if it's just to make sure to accompany the people that come to accomplish the work, I never can be witness of this. I have to always depend that somebody is going to do it. We can't. I
For the
want.
work that has been done on your house, I mean, that came out of donations and whatnot. Is there any way for Veterans Affairs to pay back Renos for Heroes, or is that money just gone?
Oh, no, that's gone. Like, if you want numbers, I'll give you the numbers. It
Yeah, sure.
cost $340,000 for the elevator.
Holy hell!
Yeah, I know.
Back in the beginning, it was under 100.
Yeah, it was $68,000 if that they'd done it the first year. So VAC only agreed to pay $215,000 from the previous quotes, but then there was the inflation, right, that came upon, which they never wanted to even adjust the $215,000 to what the inflation rate was from the 2-year time spent that took place. So VAC paid out of the 340. VAC paid 215. Reynolds Ferreira gave me a grant of 55,000, and I've paid the balance.
And the rest you paid for?
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
That's so wrong. I mean, it costs what it costs. Just cover it, VAC.
I can't,
I like
I
unbelievable.
can't explain why it costs so much, but there's not that many that works in the field of disability.
With all the money that our government spends on international affairs, it's like, we're going to spend $10 million for transgender awareness in Nigeria. Why? When Christine Gauthier doesn't even have her ramp or her elevator paid for, it's and what a battle to get that far.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
No, totally.
It's unbelievable.
And to come back to the committee, like I said, just getting there, it was 2 hours away driving. Just parking from 6 minutes away from the Parliament, it took me an hour and a half.
Nobody to help you.
Nobody to help me, even though I must have crossed and asked about 20 PPS agents. They just indicated me, you have to go all the way around because you can't just jump up a sidewalk step. You can't. And then there was construction at the Parliament, so there were detours everywhere. So from the parking, which was 6 minutes away, it took me an hour and a half from the parking to the chamber where the addition.
Pushing your own wheelchair with wrecked shoulders.
Well, Alba was doing her job, but Alba is my service dog that pulls my chair.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I mean, otherwise all hills and cobblestones, so it was really hard. And yes, I have to assist her doing it, but she maintained the pressure at least. It's not I laugh also because it's not a speed car. She's not there to race. She's there to help me move forward, which she does. And I was just so burned by the time I got there. I was in major pain, exhausted. And one thing that shocked me from this committee that I was completely disgusted with, I've come to see from mainly the Liberal side, and this is one thing that I don't care at this point, their total refusal of even taking part into the subject. And I don't know if you've listened to what the Bloc minister, deputy that was there, Marie-France, I can't remember her name right now. She was the rep for Bloc Québécois. She said, I was stunned, and that's why I was asking, did you listen to it? Because I have to listen to her again. I can't believe if it's really what she said, but at the moment there, she said, speaking to me and Kelsey, stating, you understand how the game works? When we're being elected, we want people to like us, so we're elected. And then we just want to stay there in position. So that comment from her, and then the comment from the Liberal that just went on a auto-flagellation of themselves, not even asking one single question. Like,
that
you're
was
right.
Sean Casey.
What's that?
That sounds like Sean Casey. It was unbelievable.
There were two of them that were really ridiculously not addressing us at all and just coming back rambling that there was no. They even stated to the other guy that came after me, the second set of witnesses that their numbers states, even just for prevention suicide, that there's no more suicide related to service in the military, Canadian military, since 1975. And they count them to like 22 per month. Like, you're not even to it in daytime. Like, it was shocking to hear all the bullshit and the non-implication. At this point, when you're sitting, I don't care what party you represent, when you're sitting into a committee, you're supposed to want to take interest in the subject and really want to acknowledge and finding solution commonly. It's not about being elected at this point. And it just confirmed
I don't care
what I had heard.
I don't care what party is in power. I just want them to do their job.
Yes.
For a short time, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor had the she was the minister, and I thought she was great. You know, most people thought that she was pretty good, and she was an inch away from being on my show. Like, we were back and forth. We're getting the dates. We were a day away from getting it booked, and then there was a cabinet shuffle, and she's gone.
Yeah. Well,
it's like,
when she came in position, I've sent her again the letter, the same letter I had sent, because I had never received any real responses from Macaulay and anyone. So I have sent her a letter to the Parliament, to her sector where she represents, and I had sent it through back. So I have received a letter. We have received your letter, confirmation of receiving my letter. From her office, I received that I'm not from her circumscription. So I have, they're going to be prioritizing helping people from their community and circumscription. So I should reach her through Ottawa, through the Parliament position, which I have had also. And I had never got an answer. So again, I at least try, because I'm being told also I need to take responsibility of and being on top of things. I am. But how much time am I supposed to call you back every day to get an answer and see where things are? So I have sent a letter. They changed, this was also brought up, they changed positions so often that they're not even taking interest in their jobs and really trying to make things change and happen.
No, for whatever reason, Veterans Affairs, that file is the toilet bowl prize. It's like the worst seat that you can have in Parliament if you're in cabinet. I don't know why that is. The only person that's had any staying power is Blake Richards as a shadow minister. He's been in that position for a few years now.
Right.
And but before that, even as a shadow minister, it changed like 3 different people in 3 months kind of thing. But Blake's been in that position for a while, and I can get him on the phone, I can call him directly. Like, he's approachable at least for those of us that are prominent in the veteran community.
Yeah. No, you see, he has the subject at heart for sure. And I think there are so many branches that you could be a deputy in. If you have zero interest and you do not know what you're talking about, from not even have met or wanting to be implicated in a branch of any committee, like we're talking veterans because this is what we're in, but it is, you go and ask to be sitting on the bar and lounge committee if that's all you're going to do. I mean, can we start being realistic and call things as they are? I mean, this was a real shit show circus. Me and Kelsey, and when you say, I didn't want to elaborate or go on to the subject of the elevator when I arrived to the committee, I came there stating, you probably already know who I am and why I'm here. I'm not talking the whole world. I'm talking you here sitting in the committee. You should at least know why we're coming here and why each of us are here. So I've stated I don't want to take, because we have 5 minutes. How am I supposed to explain all of this in 5 minutes?
Exactly.
So I said, I'm just going to want to let you have this time to ask questions, or if you want to argue or call me a liar. I will take the time to take out the paper and prove you that it's not the case. But this is how I wanted to try to address this time, to say, let's have an open conversation and let's set the things down. And I will, because yes, I have a suitcase full of all the documents again.
Then the only actual questions you got were from Blake Richards.
Yes. And
nobody else, the Liberals didn't want to talk to you.
They didn't even talk to any of us, and not just that. I mean,
that's what they did to me last time I testified as well.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me a single question except for Blake, because they're still mad at the first time I was there. And they don't want the truth.
No, they don't want the truth. And even worse, last week here, I don't know if it was the same at your end, but here, the journalists, again, when they were asking the Liberals to be accountable for what they don't show up, that we're all asking, everybody's asking for, and not just in veteran, but in the general politics that's going on. They stated that for them, it needs to be a leap of faith and blind trust. Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry to swear on you.
Oh, no. Swear away.
I mean, seriously? No, this is something we can do the first time when you want to show up and expose things. You do not get a blind trust and leap of faith when the competency and the disregard has been proven over and over. And this was just proof of it, again, right there. You really think we're just all undeserving humans? See, I was totally disgusted. And
sometimes they get the job done, and sometimes they do serve veterans well. And so what they do is they focus on the whatever percentage of that is, maybe 20%, I don't know. And then they pretend that it's always like that. But I hear way more stories that are similar to yours than the success stories, and what I would say to any of the veterans listening who haven't had a problem with VAC, good for you. I'm happy for you. Just know that you're not in the majority, and that not everybody has an easy go. Everything that I've got from VAC, I had to fight for tooth and nail for years. Yes. And had to get the Bureau of Pension Advocates involved, and had to fight. And every time it would go from 0 coverage to 100% coverage. Well, that's a big gap. So if I fight, then you agree, okay, it's 100%. You've told no lies. This is the problem, 100%. Well, how come you didn't start at 50?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
So we went from 0, too bad, so sad, go pound sand, to, oh yeah, well, obviously, here you go. It's
coming back to all this time wasted and money. It is money when you look again that it just this having to go back to all of the reacceptances of everything that's already been accepted for 5 years. It's not, first of all, it's not supposed to be. If as receiving services, when it's a renewal of equipment, you do not have to go back to an evaluation, another occupational therapist report, another, you may have to send another prescription to renew it, and that's all it's supposed to say. But how is it that we've become, again, that we need to restart everything from scratch each single time? It's just a wasted of resources that others are waiting a long time to just start the process. Like the guy after me had said too, I was worried what I was going to do with my time. And some people said, as we all know, it is your full-time job from now on to deal with this file. Yes.
Just to survive.
Yes. And it's like I've told him right now, I can't all my arms are, I can't kneel, I can't rest my arm anywhere because the elbow is suffering so badly. So I said, it doesn't have to be costly solutions a lot of times. Just don't know what there and exists. So I used to just carry extra socks in my pockets because I would lay a pair of socks on the table and be able to rest my elbow on it. It relieves some of the pressure. So I'm pulling all of these socks out of my pocket. So now, look, I went to the dollar store and I found this. It's not the greatest thing. It's bulgy, good, but it does serve the primary purpose of relieving all this pressure.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that VAC should be providing you with an occupational therapist for exactly that type of thing, because that's what they do.
Yes.
And
but they don't. Every single
they
time
don't.
they send here, I don't have any of these permanent case agents to my file anymore. I'm a
That's the other wrinkle.
Total and permanent disability user person. It should be already, and it was. I did have it before.
Yeah, the service agents or caseworkers or whatever they're calling them nowadays. It's such a horrible work environment at VAC for them that it's a revolving door. So, I mean, when I was active in the system, I went through, I think, 5 different caseworkers in 16 months, something like that. So just as you're getting to know somebody, you get somebody else, and some of them are okay and the others are completely useless, and you just never know what you're going to get.
Totally. And I mean, we're trying, this is one thing we're trying to make them realize. Listen, you've made a try with the nationalization of system. It's proven over and over again that it doesn't work, that all the money and all the resources are just into the pockets of all the middlemen in between. The only way any of this will work is by bringing back regional offices where people can treat people. It's not IA and it's not multinationals distribution around that
the other way
any goods
is by funding all this little mom and pop shop volunteer veteran services out there, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what helped you, was Renos for Heroes. Yep. So if other people are stepping up to fill the gap, like I've been doing for 7 years, then great, fund those people. But VAC won't even return a phone call from me. Like, I can't get anybody from VAC to come on the show. Everybody else and their dog I can get. I had the chief of defense staff on the show. I had the premier of Alberta on the show, but oh no, nobody from Veterans Affairs wants to talk to me. And the one show that's dedicated to veteran services, and they don't want to even talk to me. I've never got a call, not once.
It is disgusting, and then it is disrespecting the entire process. At the end of the day, we all just want to have a decent life.
That's it.
I can't come back to how pissed I am that they didn't take good decision way back in 90s. I just want to be able to move forward in a little decent way. Yeah. And I am, I'm totally grateful to you and to Renos for Heroes for the donation and helping me out in this. But I also I feel guilty at some end because VAC had never, like I said, it never was a question of the responsibility of the government to be paying and taking care of this. This money could have gone to someone else that has problem, maybe leaking the links between, just because this is how it is, and that they didn't have other people to help them to go from the 0 to 100, reapplying and reprocessing the paperwork. It could have taken another veteran off the street. I am an accountable person. I am a responsible person. I respected every time the steps, sending and respecting the hierarchy, the order of things, sending it to one and the other levels. But It's just a one way direction all the time. They are not taking responsibility and accountability. And not even that. They expect us to just give them a leap of faith and blind trust. Like, seriously. No.
Christine, I am so grateful for you. You've been, I'm sure you haven't felt strong every day, but you have been so strong, and you've been brave and bold, and you've put yourself out there. When I hooked you up with different reporters or documentary, you said yes every time. Every time I sent somebody your way, Rebel News, whoever, you said, yes, I will tell my story one more time.
I don't know if you know, Mark, but I had interviews from Australia, Italy,
Wow.
so England. Somebody from England came. It's been, seriously, yes, it had been resonating outside the world, US, US, just not in Canada.
Well, you've had so much press coverage, and still with that, like, if the Paralympian, the one that they used to say, hey, here's our poster girl, just asking for something so simple, but for whatever reason,
Well, it's not whatever reason. It's because I have spoken up.
well, you only
And I
spoke
have
up
no regret.
because you had to, right?
Absolutely.
There would be nothing to speak up about if they'd simply done their job.
Absolutely. And I would much rather take my time and little effort I have to just go and do something else pleasant.
Yeah, just live your life.
Yes.
Sister, I love you. And I'm so glad that you came back to join me to sort of do a recap on what's happened and where you're at now and what is still needs to happen. And if it's okay with you, I'm going to make some phone calls today, and we'll try to get the rest of that reno done.
Listen, I appreciate it so much, and I just want people to know, as clear as it is, and I will even say this now. They are what is a little bit each time. All this bureaucracy. I don't have anything against VAC per se. Or the bureaucracy is, the system right now is completely bullshit and sick. We need to address it, and this is why I've always spoken, because like I say, yeah, I do not have another choice either. This is what each day is eating me up by the inside. But it is also what enlightens me each time I come across something like this. If this is all I have left, not even the hope to be able to go and do anything enjoyable for my life, that I'm stuck in an electric chair and all I can do then is being on computer, read, stick up, I'm going to be their worst fucking nightmare. So they are what is chewing me up and destroying me, but there are also the little flame that enlightens me.
Yeah.
So please, if there is anything down my end that I can start being more involved in, please send it my way. Because it is completely unacceptable what they've done and the way they've acted at the committee. And if we have to start addressing that too, well, one more thing adding on the list.
Yeah. No, because I saw it in person as well. Although they treated me quite well in the beginning because they were so shocked. It was the first time that they had heard about MAID being offered to veterans. But I watched them call you a liar and ignore you. And I watched them do it to me the second time I was at committee. Just pretend that I wasn't even there. And they only asked questions of the people that they wanted safe answers from. And it's disgusting. They don't want to move forward because then they would have to acknowledge that that they haven't been doing their job, that they're allowing people to suffer. It's more important for them to pretend that that it's not happening than than to relieve the suffering and save some lives, because people are dying
Yes.
out of frustration. Not everybody's as strong as Christine Gauthier.
I'm not that
Most
strong. I put on a good show, and
You're still alive.
yes,
You're
but
still alive. You're still here, which means you're stronger than everybody else that isn't.
For sure. But you know, like I said, you, I, a lot, all of us, we are proud people. You know, every time I have the firm belief that everybody that goes into public service really because they want to help others. First off, where do they get lost? After, I don't know if it's when the big bucks comes in or anything, and I don't care. Okay, seriously, I do not care. I don't care that people make more money. I don't need to live this rich, fancy life. But every time we make a mistake in a decision we make, we take accountability for it, and then we change cap and we make another decision, right? Well, I think it's time for them to do that. They did their dime on this nonsense project and nationalization of services that is no doubt proof that it's not working. You've made your dime on it, now recap. Like, I'm not asking that we come back and that they pay back everything. You know, can we now take a new cap decision and bring this back to what we know work? Yes. You know, it's easy to bring things down to mediocrity and say, oh, but look, today we're going to make it better. We can't keep accepting that because, yes, the consequences is all of these people dying. It's just not acceptable.
No, it's the same on the First Nations reserves.
Yes.
They keep making promises. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they don't ever. And yet somehow First Nations people, when you look at electoral maps, they keep voting for the people that break their promises. It's like, maybe try something new.
Yes.
I don't know. Yep. But I don't care who's in power. I just want them to do their job.
Absolutely.
That's it. You know, and I've at one point or another, I voted for everybody. I was even a member of the NDP at one point. I was a dirty communist, but I was a member of the NDP. I have voted Liberal in the past, like Jean Chrétien. I don't care who's in power. I just want you to do a good job.
Yeah.
That's.
I think right now at each committees, whoever is there on the table, you need to be starting to want to work together and make thing progress. And it's not. It's clearly not happening. So that's it. No. And the result is devastating when you see all that it is bringing down with it.
Merci beaucoup pour parler avec moi aujourd'hui.
Thank you.
Mon ami.
Well, keep in touch, eh, bro?
Yes, sister, we will. And stay on the line for a little bit, Christine.
Yes.
You're listening to Operation Tango Romeo, the Trauma Recovery Podcast for veterans, first responders, and their families. Please help Christine, help support veterans by sharing the show. Leave a 5-star rating on Spotify. Share like the sugar bear, because sharing is caring.